Hey guys, what's going on? I want to come on and talk about a little bit different case tonight for once. I want to talk about a little different case. It's about Nicola Bulley. Uh, it's over in uh, UK, but it's a case that's always struck me as different. Um, I don't believe Nicola Bulley walked off in that water, right? I just don't. But allegedly, these are my opinions, my speculation, my theories. Do not take it as fact, right? Not just take it with a grain of salt. This is just what I think happened that day. I don't think it went down how they say it went down because of so many reasons. Let me get my little notes here. I want to discuss a few of these things because she was a 45-year-old mother of two. She had, I believe, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old daughter. She took them to school one morning, dropped them off. It was January the 27th. There's a little park by the school. Dropped her kids off. Did her Zoom call with work. She was did real estate, right? A broker, whatever, real estate, mortgage broker, whatever. And so she was doing a Zoom call, walking her dog, Willow. Wonderful dog. This dog loved her like Ruby loves me, right? That's how this dog was. And around, I think it was 8:30, between 8:30 and 8:33, I believe it was, or 9:30 and 9:33. It was one of those two, I believe. Hold on, let me see. I think I actually wrote down the time. It's been so long since I did this. These are all my old notes on this case. I've been wanting to talk about this case for a long time, actually. Yeah, the 27th, 2023 is when this happened, when she was reported missing that morning. It was, okay, 8 a.m. This is the Fitbit. So between 9 and 9:33 a.m. So 3-minute window pretty much. She was 45-year-old mother of two, like I thought. And anyway, she supposedly, what they're saying happened is that she basically, there's like a little embankment. It's like a park along a river. She was walking her dog Willow. For some odd reason, she was sitting on a bench, it looked like, because that's where her phone was found, and she was on like a Zoom call with work. So I'm assuming she was probably sitting on the bench doing her Zoom call, dogs, kind of laying next to her on the ground. It was a pretty steep, but not overly steep to me. Remember, allegedly, these are my opinions. Take it with a grain of salt. Just my theories, my speculations of what I think happened. Big alleged bubble, right? And y'all's comments, y'all's alone. We do our research together because we are a big-hearted, little bitty family. Trigger warning times 100 million. Anyway, Nicola Bulley, 45-year-old mother of two, walking her dog Willow in a little park next to the school. She had a doctor's appointment later on that morning, so she had to get on the road pretty quick to make her doctor's appointment. Anyway, which she always made all her appointments on time. She was really good at work. She was like really, really recommended about her work. Said that she was just, never late, never whatever, She was good at her job, cared about her children, loved her children, took them to school. All these things that shows that she's a good mom, right? And for some reason, between 9 and 9:33, she ended up in that water. Supposedly right there, right? This is what they're saying. She fell in right there. The water was 4 degrees Celsius, whatever. So she pretty much got hypothermia, probably a matter of 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds, and then that's it. But her Fitbit stayed on for a few days till February 4th from the 27th, underwater supposedly, which Fitbits are just water resistant, not waterproof. So I know I've gotten one wet before with Ruby, and believe me, it fried it. So I don't feel that it was underwater that long. I know that they're saying that, but I don't feel that. She was found a mile downriver 3 weeks later, and kind of in the downtown area. Anyway, but let me go back to the beginning of this, because she was seen on that trail by a couple of people walking her dog on the phone, whatever, right? She was doing a Zoom meeting. We know that. She was on the phone with her work because the call had ended with her work, and she was gone by then, right? Between 9:30 and 9:33. So a 3-minute in the morning window, a.m. They're saying what happened was Evidently, she was standing up by the bench, not sitting down. So if she'd have been standing up, she'd have had her phone in her hand, which didn't make sense to me. If she had her phone in her hand, she wouldn't have fallen down the embankment into the water. If she would have, her phone would have went with her, right? That's my thought on that. I don't think she would have walked in cold water because your body is probably going to react a little bit differently unless you just took off and dove in there, which with everybody hearing things, I think somebody would have heard a splash if they can hear her taking a breath, right? Or letting out a scream. But this is where it gets tricky, because the couple of forensic people, the pathologists, the people that did the coroner's office, all of them, right? This is what they say. A couple of witnesses said they heard what sounded like a scream, like two kids playing hide and seek, right? So like you know what I mean? Which that is an exhale scream, right? Because I don't know if I can scream inhaling. I don't think I can. I don't think you can. You can try it. I've tried it and tried it and tried it. I can't scream while I'm inhaling. But they're saying that is, she hit the water. It was so cold that she inhaled while she was screaming, which to me is the dumbest thing you can say, because that makes zero damn sense. Try it. Try to scream and inhale. Try to take a breath and scream at the same time, right? You may make a noise like that, but it's not a scream, right? Like where two kids are playing hide and seek, which is what one witness said. Another witness said she heard screams that sounded like an inhale and scream too. Bullshit. Don't happen. Sorry, excuse my language. I apologize, but that don't happen. I've tried it a million times. It don't happen. You cannot scream while you're breathing in. Your Fitbit's not going to last that many days in the water. I'm just trying to give you my rundown of this case real quick, but before we kind of get into it, I'm not going to take a deep dive tonight. I'm just going to do a little because I wanted to bring it up. A couple of y'all been asking about it. I really wanted to cover it, so I'm kind of excited that y'all are asking about it. But there's so many things, red flags, and what these coroners and doctors and everybody are saying, right? This one doctor said she drowned, basically, right? She had mud caked to her forehead. Okay, if you drowned and sink to the bottom in a moving river, for one, you're not building up mud unless you get stuck somewhere, and that's possible, but it's not going to stay on your skin. Put mud on your skin and jump in the water. What does it do? It disappears, right? It's going to wash off. It's mud. So to say that is beyond me when she was found floating in the water. So that means that she wasn't stuck on the bottom like they're saying. That's one red flag to me, was the mud to her forehead. And she's actually in the same town as Jay Slater, from the same town as Jay Slater. But they're not saying there was water in the lungs. They're saying there was watery fluids in the lungs. So that tells me she didn't have water in the lungs. That's like Riley Strand. Didn't have water in the lungs. I don't think Riley Strand drowned either. I don't think dry drowning happens this often. But the water was 4 degrees, right? 4 degrees, what they're saying, which to me would have been solid ice. But the Fitbit is what got me, because the Fitbit evidently registered 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., 4,548 steps. That is an awful lot of steps in an hour and a half. A lot of steps. Anyway, that's what they're saying it registered. But during that time of the morning on the 27th of February. And then it didn't register anything other than a pulse and a heart rate, which if she's drowned, she didn't have a pulse and a heart rate for like 7 and 8 days. That's not possible. They're water resistant, not waterproof. But they're saying they're suddenly surprised, like somebody jumped out playing hide and seek, which is one witness said the scream sounded like. Well, that's different. That's like kids laughing and screaming, like joking. That's not like you're inhaling and screaming, right? Cold water shock. Okay, if you get cold water shock, and everything that I've dug on cold water shock, you don't make any noise. You might go, like that, but you're not going to scream, yell, or shout or anything like that. I'm trying to think. That's about the kids going to school. Hold on. I got some more I want to discuss tonight, because that's the exhale. They all say, okay, Helen O'Neill also heard screams. Okay, saying screams. Sounds like a couple of kids. Okay, so these are what everybody's saying. And then these other two witnesses that say they heard her gasping scream, like she was breathing in and screaming, which you can't do. Plus, there was no alcohol, no drugs, no none of that in her system, right? On January 27, 2023, when she supposedly fell in this water. Okay, but one thing I want to discuss is, for one, the phone being found on the bench. That doesn't make sense. She was on the phone with we know she's on the phone with her work. So her phone wouldn't have been sitting on the bench and her standing up by the water. I mean, that's a good 15 feet, 10 feet. So I don't see that happening. Also, the other thing that I wanted to touch was it is about the dog, right? Y'all know how I am with Ruby, right? Y'all know Ruby follows me everywhere. If I jumped in the water, Ruby's going to jump in, right? That's what's going to happen. She's going to come where I'm at, right? For one, this dog is seen running around the area, not tied, running around, and the dog's not wet. So you're telling me your owner fell in the water screaming and the dog didn't go get her? BS. That dog would have went in that water and drug her out of that water, or at least tried to help her, and probably drowned with her. No way that dog did not go. That dog would have went in that water. That dog wouldn't have been running around outside the water with a leash on. And the phone wouldn't have been found on a bench. So none of that made sense. But then the catch to this whole thing, besides all that of shock and screaming and yelling, and some are saying it's a gasping scream, some are saying it's an inhale scream, which doesn't happen. None of it made sense. And none of it adds up. Because the phone's on the bench and the dog's running around. Sorry, I don't believe she was in that water at that time. She was found 3 weeks later in the water, which they said that water would have traveled her body 2 feet per second. Okay, so in 3 weeks, she had only been a mile? Oh no, it was 10 feet per second or something. There's no way, when I calculated it out, she would have been like 2.5 miles in 3 weeks. Not 1 mile. And plus, it wasn't even really, it was like a drainage ditch thing like we searched in Tennessee. It was small. It wasn't big at all. And a professional diver that's found so many people with all this high technology dove that entire thing. And what did he say when he's sitting there with his head like this? If she'd have been in there, I'd have found her. That reminds me of another case just like that, Jay Slater case. If he'd have been here, I'd have found him, right? That's what this reminds me of. If she would have been there, he would have found her. And that's what he said. So all this about this and that, I don't believe it. We know there was kind of some stuff going on, maybe with some money laundering in a way, maybe. And I don't know if this is true yet. I'm working on it. And with some of the family members, and they think that this was retaliation, that could be possible. But still, why wouldn't if somebody would have grabbed her, the dog would have attacked. Unless the dog was tied to the bench. Like somebody telling her, hey, and had a weapon at her, hey, tie your dog. You're coming with me. And then the dog finally broke free and couldn't find it and ran back to where her phone was. Because that's where the scent was. That's possible. I don't know. Supposedly there was 3 minutes is all the window between people walking by. Which, if somebody as wide open as that place is, you would have seen it. And you would have seen it fall in. The other lady was at the tennis courts right across the she would have seen it. And some of these people that say they hear her, they're freaking $20. They don't hear that far. You know, I mean, unless you've got some super ass bell tone hearing aid that can hear a freaking mile, I don't believe none of it. I'm not buying none of it. I don't believe none of it. And that's my opinion. And I'm gonna get into we're gonna get more into this case in the next few days when we do the 3 cases. And I'm gonna put a full 20-30 minutes in and break down everything of what I think happened. And then we'll go from there. I want to hear y'all's comments. Do y'all want to cover this case? Do you not? I want to cover it. I want to know if y'all want to cover it. So let me know, guys, in the comments if y'all want me to cover this case. It's a very interesting, sad, heartbreaking story. These 2 children lost their mother, and I do not believe she just went off and jumped in the water, like they're saying, because nothing adds up. I mean, nothing adds up. And I will prove the theory of why I believe it doesn't add up. I will prove my theory. So y'all have a good night, guys. I've done 4 videos tonight. I'm tired. I'm beat. I'm taking a break. I'm taking a nap and resting. So yesterday was a 20-hour search day. I'm still beat from that. So y'all guys have a good night. Let me know if y'all want to cover this case more extensively. I want to, but just let me know. I don't want to cover it if nobody wants to cover it. I want to get y'all's opinions because I have a lot more cases that I want to cover as well. This is just one that was on top of my bucket list of ones I wanted to cover, as I feel like something went wrong here. I feel like there was foul play somehow involved in this. I don't feel like she went in that water right there, or those divers would have found her in that little short, shallow, narrow. Y'all go dig it and see how shallow. Like, I could have threw a little stick across the bank. It's that close. It's like a drainage facility area. It's not even a creek to me. It's like a little creek. It's small. Like, I could have probably run and jumped it almost. Long jump, probably 15 feet across there, 20 feet. I mean, in some areas it gets wider, but where she was, it was really, really narrow. And she wouldn't have gone far. in the cold water like that. She would have sank first and sat there for a little while, and then maybe a day or so later started moving. Because evidently the water didn't move very fast at all on this thing. So that diver, I think, that went in right away would have found her, in my opinion. He went way down, way back there, ran drones in there, underwater sonar, all that, nothing. So you tell me. And then she pops up a mile down the way 3 weeks later and is like in almost perfect condition, supposedly. I don't know, I'm still digging on that part, but I got some more stuff to share with y'all. So y'all have a good night. We love y'all guys. Remember, allegedly, this is my bubble, my opinion, my free speech only. Don't take it as facts. Take it as a grain of salt from the ocean. And trigger warning times 100 million. Nicola Bulley deserves justice. Nicola Bulley deserves justice. And we're going to see if we can't come up with something that might prove the theory of what I think. We're going to dig into it and we're going to see. And I might be totally wrong and just having a brain fart. I don't know. But we'll figure it out together. All right, guys. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We love y'all guys. Talk soon. All right, guys. Bye.